Viewers have asked for a video about batch resizing images. We'll use the last Photoshop script and add to it. We covered some of this in tutorials 6 and 8. This time I'll cover more and show a few different ways to do it. To start, I've copied the code from tutorial 16 and made the title tutorial 19. This includes the additions of reading subfolders and logging errors. Like before, in my copy of the script, I'll hard code the folder locations so I don't have to select them every time the script runs. These are blank in the code download. Now, with that out of the way, go to the Process File function. We don't need to log if the image is CMYK. That was just to demonstrate using the log. Instead, we'll resize the image here. To start, we need a few variables. var pixels h, var pixels w, var scale h, and var scale w. For the first example, let's resize images for a website. The point is to limit image size because excess only makes the page take longer to load. I size my web images a maximum of 1200 by 800 pixels. We won't make the images exactly that size. The idea is to keep them below the size. You can change the values for width and height to anything you prefer. Using the current dimensions, do some math to determine the scale factor for each. Scale W equals 1200 divided by dock width. Scale h equals 800 divided by dock height. Which one is less? Use the JavaScript math function minimum to find out. Scale equals math min scale w scale h. The result is a scaling factor, not a percentage. If you want percentage, multiply the factor by 100. But that's not needed in this case. All we have to do is multiply the current image size by the factor. Dock resize image, dock width times scale, dock height times scale, null, resample method, automatic. The arguments are width in pixels, height in pixels, pixels per inch, and the resampling method. The third argument, pixels per inch, is null because we're not changing the pixels per inch. We're only changing the pixel width and height. There is one other step I would add. There's no use resizing an image that's already less pixels. You know it's less when the scale factor is 1 or greater. For example, let's say the image is 600 pixels wide. Divide 1200 by 600 and the answer is 2. In other words, 200%. We don't need to enlarge images for the web. So add an if block around the call to the dock resize method. If scale is less than 1. Only resize when scale is a fraction, meaning less than 100%. Save the script and go to Photoshop. I've already made an action to run this script. For help adding scripts to Photoshop, see the link in the description for another video that shows the steps. In the list, select the script and click the Actions panel Play button. Click OK and the script gets to work. When done, view the results in Bridge. The images reach the height limit before the width, so all are 800 pixels tall and whatever width to keep the proportions. Now for the second resize option. To start, I'll comment out the first option. This option is simpler, but not likely the desired result. Make the image an exact size, stretching it if needed. For example, 5 by 7 inches. The document property resolution is how many pixels per inch. To get the pixels for width and height, multiply the dimension in inches by the document resolution. Pixels W equals 5 times dock resolution. Pixels H equals 7 times dock resolution. Then resize the image to those pixel values. Dock resize image, pixels W, pixels H, null, resample method, automatic. Again, the third argument is null because we're not changing the pixels per inch. Save the script, then go to Photoshop and run it. When done, view the results in Bridge. The images are precisely the desired size, but notice now they are distorted. The third option is probably better. I'll comment out the second option. This option is a combination of the last two, with a few adjustments. Again, we'll make the ultimate size 5 by 7 inches. Get the width and height in pixels by multiplying by document resolution like before. Pixels W equals 5 times dock resolution. Pixels H equals 7 times dock resolution. Calculate how much to scale each dimension to arrive at the desired size, like we did for the first option. Scale W equals pixels W divided by dock width. Scale H equals pixels H divided by dock height. But this time, instead of the lowest value, we want the highest, so the image is scaled no less than the smallest dimension. Do this by using the math method maximum instead of minimum. Scale equals math max, scale W, scale H. Then resize the image. Dock resize image, dock width times scale, dock height times scale, null, resample method, automatic. Because we chose the largest scale value, one dimension could exceed the target size. So the image has to crop, or it's larger than we want. Use Resize Canvas to trim the extra by passing the pixels wide and high and the anchor position, which I'll set to center. Then the image remains centered. Dock Resize Canvas, pixels W, pixels H, anchor position, middle center. In Photoshop, run the script. When done, view the results in Bridge. Now the images are the correct size, and they are not distorted. Instead, the images are cropped. If you'd rather crop away one side, or the top or bottom, use a different anchor position. I'll add comments in the code with the choices of anchor positions. These are the same positions in the canvas size dialog in Photoshop for anchor. I've made a download of the code used in this tutorial. Get it at the link in the description. Like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe so you're notified of future videos. Also, leave a comment. I always like to hear from you. All feedback is welcome. There are plenty of other tutorials. Click the video or playlist on screen for more. Thank you for watching.